Leave me alone! Tie him down! Tie him down! Get his hands! Get his hands!
No! Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
Go heat up that iron. Heat it up real good. Yeah.
May Allah reward you, Ya Abu Bakr. Alhamdulillah.
You just paid all this money for this slave and you're letting him go? Are you crazy?
He himself suffered a lot at the hands of the tyrants. So much so that he was left once unconscious after he was beaten to near death. It did not bother him for his wealth to be used up for the sake of Allah and the propagation of the new light of Islam. The true believer. In every test of oppression, Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu gave firm proof of his firm faith. He did not expect any material gains from his support of Islam. His protection of converts saved them from the mischievous acts of the Quraysh and provided them with a shelter to worship Allah in relative peace. Migration to Al-Madinah. Desperate efforts. No doubt that the way the Prophet ﷺ preached his message for 13 years in Mecca had no parallel in history. His courage and determination in the face of bitter opposition will always be a source of inspiration to those who work in the cause of truth and justice. He began single-handed with no visible means of protection to meet the attacks of the barbarous tribes of Arabia. It was really a difficult mission to change those people who were notorious for their worship of idols and criminal acts into clean and civilized human beings. Side by side with the Prophet ﷺ. The assistance provided by Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu in helping the cause and protecting weak converts created a strong bond between him and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This bond was further confirmed by their joint departure to Al-Madinah. Change of direction. As the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam felt desperate to change the society of Mecca, he decided to address those who came from afar to participate in fairs outside the city. On many occasions, the response was negative in the beginning. But soon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam happened to see a group of visitors from Yathrib. They listened to his message on the very first occasion, and in the course of a couple of years, a number of them accepted the Islamic faith. Protection attained. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam caught this chance to provide his followers with a place of security. He already had held a pledge of protection with the chiefs of Yathrib. Hence, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam permitted his companions to start migrating to Yathrib.
Hurry up, let's go.
Let's move quickly. Quickly, come on.
Sahib, what? I'm on flock of sheep. Can I take it with me?
No, now put it back. I already told you we have to leave these things behind. Inshallah, we'll get something better in Al-Madinah.
The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself was preparing to leave the city to the new place where he could find peace to preach the message. His companions began migrating to Yathrib in batches and groups until most of them left the city under the cover of darkness. leaving behind their houses and property. First in everything, Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu himself expressed his wish on many occasions to leave to Yathrib. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was always asking him to wait for a while. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, "Do not do so yet. Maybe Allah will send a companion to be with you when you migrate." These words gave Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu a strong feeling that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be his companion. At the same time, he was afraid lest Quraysh would come to know that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was planning to leave Mecca. 4 months had now passed since the first batches of Muslims had left Mecca, and there were only a few people who for one reason or another could not leave the city, including the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Abu Bakr, and Ali ibn Abi Talib radiallahu anhu. The plot to murder the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Quraysh felt the danger of permitting Muslims to escape their control. Hence, they finally decided to put an end to the Prophet's life. They agreed to have about 40 young men from all tribes to stand by the house of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam one night and tear his body with their swords. Orders to migrate to Al-Madinah. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, however, was informed by Allah of the plot and was instructed to migrate. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in turn told his close friend Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu to be ready for the sacred voyage. Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu had already bought 2 camels to use in his journey to Al-Madinah. He had fed the 2 camels well in preparation for the long journey. Leaving the homeland. Early morning before dawn, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered his cousin Ali radiallahu anhu to cover himself with his blanket and sleep in his bed. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam left, passing in front of the youth surrounding his house.
Enough! Let's go in! Alright, Muhammad, the gate is up. Alright, lift up that blanket. See if it's open. What? Who? That's Ali!
Muhammad left! Muhammad escaped! Muhammad is gone! Where is he? Where could he have gone? It's terrible! It's simply terrible!
What are we going to do now? Get after him! Get after him!
He reached the house of Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, who kept awake and ready to join the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They both made for a cave of Thawr, about 5 miles south of Mecca. Both the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu kept in the cave while Meccans were searching everywhere to find them, after they had discovered that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had escaped them. The Quraysh horsemen came very close to the cave, and Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu felt his body shivering for fear of being seen by pursuers. However, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam whispered in his ear, "Do not grieve, Allah is with us." The pursuers came very close to the mouth of the cave,